Go! Hey guys, welcome back to Call of Cubes. So this is the second part on how to solve faster and get solves under 30 seconds using the beginner's method. So in the last part we have done till F12, that is the first two layers, and we have done an yellow cross at the top layer. So if you didn't check out the first part, definitely go check it out here, or I will link it down in the description below so that you could just check it out. So once you've done with the yellow cross on the top layer, next what we will do in the beginners method is that we will find the center colors, that is the colors that go with the yellow edge pieces, that is the blue, green and whatever the colors that goes on. So in this stage what we'll do is that we'll just try to align colors and find two pairs. So once the two are matched, then we'll do an algorithm to make sure that we match all the centerpieces, and we'll get all the centerpieces matched now. But at this stage you got to be really fast. For this case, when I have done with the yellow cross, so now I am about to find any one pair of edges that match together to the centerpieces that goes over here. So instead of just moving on to say whether okay so it doesn't match or it doesn't match, so what we could do is that once you find any two pieces, that is the two edges that goes 1 and 2 faces you, just make sure that they are not opposite. If they are opposite, then they won't pair together. That is, if I just make sure the orange is aligned, then it will not pair together. The reason why this apply is because these two colors are opposite to each other. So we know that green is opposite to blue and red is opposite to orange, and they never ever go adjacent to each other, just like orange or green or orange or blue. So just make sure that red and orange are opposite colors and they never pair up like so. So once you just spot it, and if you find the two edges that are facing you are opposite colors, then just move on to these two edges and they also will be the opposite colors, that is green and blue. So in this case what we could do is that just quickly do the algorithm, because we don't have any possible case to pair up. But once you've done the algorithm, you'll probably get a paired case such as these two. So these are adjacent colors, so that you could just quickly do the algorithm. But also quick note for this case, so once you find two adjacent colors, don't try to make sure that you have to just pair up with this center pieces, and then you have to make sure that you hold it towards your right hand and then do the algorithm. So once you find your two adjacent pieces, just make sure that you hold it towards your right hand wherever they are, because they definitely go towards your right spot. But to avoid cube rotation that takes us time, we are just going to place it towards your right hand and then do the algorithm quickly as soon as possible, and then the rest of the colors will be matched. And the same one applies to the last before case, that is while you are correcting all the corner pieces. Just don't make sure that you have to always align to its right spot and then find for corner piece, oh so this doesn't apply, and then move like this. So instead of that, cube rotations are longer than cube turns, so just assume this. And also the thing what we are doing for this case to make it just really fast is that we are gonna just picture that these two, the edge over here and the edge over here, are just matching towards the center. So just why not just always assume to find this piece which the matching centers, we are gonna just picture it as the edges. So just picture that the edges are also the centers, because we have already matched them to the centers. So in this point we are gonna just make sure that if these two colors are in any one of the two adjacent spot in the corner, then it is the right corner and you can do the algorithm. And next mu, so for this case we have green and orange, but I don't have green and orange over here. And for this case I have red and green, perfect, and then do the algorithm. So we have done till all the first two layers, cross, first two layers and yellow cross, corrected all edges and corners, and this is our last stage in the beginners method. So for the last case you may get easy peasy cases such as these two paired up really easily, and then you move on to the next part and then complete it. But when cases like this come together, it takes years long to do the RU move to complete all the four edges. So that goes like this, and then you'll move on, move on. So in order to do this cases really fast, then comes the reason for learning finger tricks. So that is the reason why finger tricks play a very important role on solving a 3x3 Rubik's cube or any other cubes for cubing. So the same case when you do it like using bad finger tricks or even just doing finger tricks like this. And then once you've done with that, you shouldn't do a turn like this. And once you've done with the Oreo or down move, then you shouldn't go for this kind of move for the down facing. Instead of that, you got to do a really good finger trick. So for that, you can use here this finger or a pinky finger to just slice back down, and then you can just continue doing it. Slice, do that, slice, and do that. So using finger tricks and then solving a cube might be feel very tough at solving, but the reason why is that because you might be really used to turn the cube like this. But once you've done learning all the finger tricks and just practicing it a lot while you're doing nothing but else just taking out your cubes and then practicing with moves like this or moves with D moves. So my best tip to learn finger tricks is not doing solves. The time when you're just taking out your cubes and then just practicing with, then try to scramble the cube or as just solve, and while solving relaxing, just try to use finger tricks like this and D moves with both hands. So once you've mastered with all the finger tricks, that is like Oreo down moves and the D flicks, then your solve for this case might be seem very easy. And that goes like this. And that's it. And also muscle memory plays a really important role for faster solves. You don't just worry about the word, it's not like muscle and memory. So the muscle memory means that doing an algorithm without thinking. But you may find it very really strange because doing an algorithm without thinking, so in order to do muscle memory algorithms is that you got to be really fast. So once you find your case, you got to be really quick at the algorithm which you have learned, and it needs to be performed really fast, and it should look like this. And also muscle memory can be achieved really fast when you are just practicing, not only during solves and during just practicing only your algorithms. So try to make your timings or just time the solves using algometer, and then do the practice, do your algorithm practice a lot of times, and then you would achieve. And also not just solving it really fast doesn't matter. All you have to do is also just recognize the cases quicker. For this case, I have like two adjacent colors. Then you have to quickly recognize that it is just a zone, and then you could just take it to a right and then quickly do the algorithm. Alright guys, so here we have a solve using only beginners method, and let's go. So for having solves under 30 seconds using the beginners method, you gotta have your cross, white cross, under 4 seconds. And once you've done with the cross, you gotta do the first layer in 8 seconds. So you can take like for one piece you can take like 2 seconds, so you got to practice it a lot. And for the second layer, which is pretty easy, and then you should do the second layer also 8 seconds. So 8 plus 8 16, and cross in 4 seconds. So rest we have 10 seconds. So for the yellow cross and the permutation of the edges and corners, you can take like around 6 seconds, and for the rest correcting all the corners you could take 4 seconds. So if you add all that, you'll be reaching sub 30, or you'll consistently get solves under 30 seconds using the beginners method. Alright, so I hope that this video may help you get better at 3x3